All right, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to the State of E-commerce. My name is TJ Highland, joined by my colleague Ben Stein, as always. And this week, we are super excited to have Tom Meek of AVASK, business consultants and accountants. Tom, what's going on?
Thank you guys for having me. It's great to be on here. I speak to you both far too much, and it's good for a new year to be back on.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Obviously, we're kicking off 2021 here, and it's really good to have a really good friend of both ours, but also a pioneer and AVASK to join us to talk about a really hot topic. Some big changes happened 6 days ago, and there's some more going on. So I think we're going to jump in, talk about some heavy stuff, but also figure out what's going on into 2021. So Ben, why don't we jump in?
Yeah, TJ, Tom, thanks so much. Really excited to learn some more about Brexit and really what that all means. So let's just go ahead and kick it off right to you, Tom. What is Brexit? If I'm a U.S. seller here, I've been selling here domestically, and maybe I want to sell in the U.K. or maybe I was previously selling in Europe and the U.K. and I read the news. Can you give us a super high level overview of what it is?
Yeah, of course. Everyone watching is probably now thinking, "Oh, it's about Brexit." But it is a really, really important topic. Everyone needs to be aware of what Brexit is, what it means to you as a seller. I'm sure. Is it fair to say, Ben, TJ, that the majority of people tuning in today are from the US?
It's actually really global. This is on Payoneer's global account. So we have, people from Bangladesh, I know, absolutely joining us, and Pakistan, Southeast Asia, across Europe, and definitely the US as well. So truly a global audience.
Mixture. Okay, awesome. So, obviously, in terms of, what is Brexit? Brexit is really is the UK leaving the EU. Okay, so over the past 4 years, we've been trying to leave, and there's been a huge number of different things that have to happen for us to be able to do so, which, as you can imagine, is extremely complex, not a huge amount of fun. And I think, the word Brexit, a lot of sellers are very familiar with, but it's one of those things that it's quite difficult to really break down and work out how it impacts them and selling, especially if you're already selling in the UK and EU. Okay, but just to give you a really quick breakdown, like a really quick summary. So from the 31st of January 2020, the UK is no longer part of the EU. Okay, and what we've been doing over the course of this year, so from the 31st of January right the way through to the 31st of December, is we've been going through what's called a transition period. Okay, which is where we're basically trying to find some sort of deal to be in place and to make the whole situation of the UK leaving the EU much more familiar and much more formalised to benefit both parties, if you like. Okay, so 31st of December was the end, and we have now come to a trade agreement, or agreement generally, which is fantastic, because if we hadn't gone down the agreement side, then we would have been governed by the WTO rules. But now we've got a lot more negotiation and different opportunities and options that will be presented, which is absolutely brilliant because we do now have a deal. But in answer to your question, Ben, the UK leaving the EU is what Brexit is.
So that's perfect. So if I'm a seller, a global seller, and I'm running my brand here, is it something that I need to worry about? Do I need to fundamentally change how I'm doing business? How's it going to impact me?
Yeah, of course. yeah. How long have you got? No, it's a great question. It really depends on your situation, to be honest. Let's take a situation as you are actually currently selling in Europe and the UK. I mean, most sellers use the UK as a gateway to Europe. So they're bringing in their inventory, they're storing in the UK, and they're fulfilling through Amazon FBA, and they're going through the various methods of fulfilling and doing cross-border sales, however that might be. So with Brexit, how does it actually affect a seller? It's really, really important to know that where the UK is no longer part of the EU single market, there's basically a new customs border in place between the UK and EU, okay, which means that there's going to be new tariffs, duties, and things to be paid on both sides of the border. So previously, 2020, if I was selling my products, whatever they may be, and I wanted to sell them from the UK to Germany, I was able to do that to free movement of trade. There'd be no duties, no customs border, and I could ship to the UK and start fulfilling orders into the other marketplaces, which was a massive benefit because there's obviously there's a number of marketplaces, 7 in total in the EU and UK as well. But now, because there is the new customs border between the UK and EU, we've got to imagine us separated, and every transaction going across the border, there's a new sort of border control in place where everything has an additional tax requirement, which otherwise wasn't there before.
Right. So what that means is really on the fulfillment side, whereas you might have had one entry point into all of Europe and the UK, now you might have to consider having a location in Europe, say in Germany or France or Italy, and then one in the UK separately, so that each transaction you're not going, potentially paying additional duties. Correct?
Exactly. Yeah. So in terms of how it actually affects a seller, I think the main thing to think of is, where are you currently bringing your stock from and to? If it's the UK, then brilliant. That's fine. You can have the UK catering for the UK, but you're going to pay duties as you come in. And what you don't want to have to do is then on every sale that goes to Germany or to France, for example, you don't want to have to pay that again. Okay. So how do you minimize that? Well, you need to have your goods stored in both the UK and also the EU. So you need to speak to your shipping provider and make sure that you split your inventory.
Right.
And I'm sure you guys are probably going to ask me some questions around what the requirements are, which we'll come on to soon.
It sounds like diversification is still on the table for e-commerce merchants and sellers. They'll really need to hear, pick apart their business a little bit more, make a good plan as it comes to global expansion and global European expansion.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that obviously the market still presents a humongous opportunity, and I think that Brexit shouldn't scare anyone away. It's added, one additional requirement, which or a couple of additional requirements, which is just to make sure that path that your products take is in the best possible way. So to really minimise the duties or the import VAT that's payable. So what we would recommend at AVASK is to have 2 VAT numbers as a minimum. Okay, so let's take a step back from that. Why do you need a VAT number? Okay, so VAT is obviously the tax collected. It's the same as sales tax in the US, and that's incorporated within the sale price. So if you are looking to start selling in the EU and UK, you're best to have your products placed in both the UK and the EU. Now, which country is best for you to store in? Well, it really just depends. Germany is the largest market in the EU, followed by France. So they're the most popular. The Netherlands is also quite a popular country as well. So you'd send one shipment to the UK, one to France. And to do that, you're going to need a VAT number in both countries, okay? Because you need to have a VAT number to be able to store products there, and you need to file the VAT returns from day one. And you're also going to need an EORI number, okay? An EORI number is a number that allows you to clear your goods at customs, okay? So you're going to need 2 of those, and you're probably thinking, I've already got one. If you're already selling in the UK, that's not going to be sufficient. As from the 1st of January, so 6 days ago, you're going to need a UK one and an EU one.
So you just referenced that. So a lot of changes went into effect as of January 1 of this year, 6 days ago. Is that it for 2021? Are there more changes? Are things constantly changing? What's the deal with that?
Yeah, so unfortunately, it's not the only change. Be much easier if it was. I think, again, that there are other changes in place, which I'll come on to in just a second. But in terms of what these changes mean, that the other changes aside from Brexit are really helping sellers to continue to sell cross-border. So one of the main changes is that online marketplaces are going to become the deemed supplier in certain situations. So similar to sort of the marketplace facilitator requirements in sales tax in the US, Amazon as a marketplace is facilitating the sale. Therefore, they're sort of the deemed supplier. So instead of sending, if you're a US-based client or a seller and you're selling into the UK, then Amazon are going to be responsible for you to collect that and remit that tax if you're sending your goods from, let's say, China into the UK FBA centre. So it's a really positive change for a lot of sellers. And there's some other changes as well, which I can come on to. But yeah, certainly the online marketplaces is a massive shift. It's just for the UK currently. So don't think that just because the UK's Amazon are collecting and remitting the tax in certain situations, it's not the case for the EU. So to just bear that in mind. You still need a VAT number. You still need to declare your sales in the country, in the UK. So you're still going to need a tax provider, someone like ourselves, to be able to actually file the VAT for you.
So, we know here change is constant, right? It's always going to happen. We know that our, entrepreneurs are resilient, willing to roll with the punches as things come up. But something interesting, I think you mentioned, were the two most popular marketplaces in Europe. We see Germany and France. I was curious to know some of your insights of what you saw in 2020 and what you expect to hear in 2021 as, e-commerce continues to flourish and grow.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, really. I think in terms of Europe, obviously, as I said, it presents a humongous opportunity for e-commerce sellers, and Germany being the largest, followed closely by France. I know TJ likes to really level them off in different ways, as he explains. But I think with COVID, it's been an unbelievable year and spiking growth. Some say it's sort of 4 years of growth all in that 1 year, which has just been absolutely amazing to see. And a classic example I use is that, my grandparents, for example, TJ, I've told you this at least 3 times now, so you probably get bored of it. But before,
love your grandparents. Great story.
My grandparents are well known at the moment. They really are. They probably don't even know I talk to them. They don't watch these things, but I'm going to show them one day. But they're now all shopping online. And I think COVID has really pushed the over 65s especially into becoming natural and becoming up to date with e-commerce and having to order things online, which has obviously had a massive part to play in the growth that we've seen. So I would say 2021 is still going to continue to grow massively. Obviously, with what's going on, it doesn't look like it's getting better. It looks like it's getting worse, especially in the UK. We're in a full lockdown here. So I can only see that growth continuing.
I hope it continues to. Something that I've enjoyed seeing is kind of the globalization of the economy and really the digital first mentality. I think, as you just mentioned, we're seeing a whole nother population, connect to the internet and use e-commerce another way. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that digital first, where I know I'm on my cell phone and I'm shopping and I'll think of something, I'll read something and say, oh, maybe I need to check a marketplace to purchase that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think certainly the days of going into the supermarket, well, not supermarkets, but the big stores and going and get things for Christmas. Now I've done it once. I'm ready for 2021. I'm doing all my shopping on Amazon, on eBay, whatever it is. Probably not eBay for Christmas presents, but you know what I mean.
Well, I know initiative.
Sorry, Ben. Go ahead.
The one big initiative that AVASK has worked on after seeing the resiliency, seeing the growth of the e-commerce market was an online ebook. Tom, can you tell us a little bit about that and kind of the resources you're providing for entrepreneurs?
Yeah, of course. So we've got. Thank you very much for mentioning it. I mean, it's been an unbelievable success so far. So the company directors, owners have actually released a book called The Online Hustle. It hasn't been out for long, so I'm still reading it at the moment. I'm really enjoying it. It's absolutely brilliant, and it's not for it's basically for everyone. You don't need to be an established seller. You don't need to have sold for years, or if you've just started. It's for everyone. It goes through what selling is. It goes through what the sort of things that you need to consider, and it just really puts everything into perspective, which is really, really interesting for everyone that's read it. So that's something that's been released. We've also got a promotion on at the moment for the first sellers that buy the book, which is a 3-hour consultation with Melanie or Angelos, which are the directors of AVASK. So you get a full consultation with them, and also some promotional rates on things as well. I know that there's, I think, a few places left on that, so it'd be worth checking out the online hustle as soon as possible. But definitely a good read, and good for whatever stage you're at.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've known Melanie and Angelos for a long time now, and they're very ingrained in this online online selling world, and see it from a different angle. And like I think we do as well, right? So we're not necessarily sellers, we're not in on this level, but we might see it from here. So always a different perspective, and I'm excited to read it as well. I ordered it on Amazon, so it should be coming soon.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, definitely. It's definitely a good one. We've also got some other sort of changes that I wanted to touch on for 2021. As I said, it doesn't really stop there. And I've really just not even touched the sides on that, but I would really recommend if sellers are in the situation of selling in the UK and EU, then it's definitely worth reaching out to myself or someone in the team to go through what those changes mean to them and in their situation, because we've had sort of things like the abolishment of flow consignment, and we've also got sort of the tax actually collected on the sale in a different way to how it is now. So it's really important that sellers do reach out if they are currently selling in the UK and EU and are shipping just to the UK at the moment. We can give them a full understanding for what that looks like, and make sure that they can sell in the best possible way from this year. And I think that really goes for shipping as well. Unless you've got that second EORI number, and you're not going to be able to ship into the likes of Germany, France, Italy, Spain, it's just not going to be as simple as it was before. So that's really important. And then in July, we've also got more changes, which everyone will be pleased to know, which is the introduction of the OSS, which stands for One Stop Shop. This is a positive, although it's another change to get your head around. It is a positive. And basically, in the OSS, sellers are going to actually pay VAT through one country in the EU. Okay, so it's an extension of the mini one-stop shop, which is a UK scheme. Unfortunately, the EU didn't adopt it from the 1st of January. It was postponed to July because of COVID. Mm-hmm. But now we do have the OSS from the 1st of July, hopefully, and that is going to be where you're paying your VAT through one country. So if I'm a US-based seller, I would opt to a country to pay my tax through. Let's say it's Germany. Even if I'm making sales in France or in Italy or in Spain, I'm going to pay all of my VAT, okay, in certain circumstances, to that country. And then the tax office that I pick is going to be responsible for then spreading the VAT according to the country of arrival.
Well, it seemed like those are, for better or for worse, great changes that are really just going to help sellers continue to grow their businesses and make it a lot easier to, as we talk about, capitalize on this global opportunity that we see.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that the amount of sellers is still shooting up. It's great to see, and I know that obviously people are still considering the UK and EU as a massive market to really increase their visibility and diversify. And obviously, new year for a lot of people, which presents so many different opportunities. So I'd say if you're not already selling in the UK and EU markets, then consider it. There's only a short checklist that you need to go through to actually be able to start selling, using Payoneer for the finances, use partners like First Choice Shipping to get your products there. And then really it is just the translation and the taxes. So you're opening yourself up to hundreds of millions of more potential buyers. And who wouldn't want to do that?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, right? And especially as we're seeing, we talked about the 65 and up group who are heading online. We see, individuals such as ourselves who are continuing to funnel all of our purchase online, whether it be, because we're locked down due to COVID, or because the convenience and the ease of and the assortment of shopping online. So I couldn't agree more that the opportunity is out there, and it's always time to strike while the iron is hot.
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So yeah, obviously anyone that wants to get in contact with us is more than welcome to do so. So I don't know if you've got my contact details available for everyone, but people can reach out to me or just go through our AVASK website. So yeah.
Yeah, and Tom, with that, we want to say thanks so much for joining us to help us kick off the new year right. We really think 2021 is going to be a great year for opportunity and for entrepreneurs to really seize the day. So with that, as we always do, we'd love to give you the final word here before we sign off.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I would just end on, as I said, UK and EU, huge opportunity. Don't let the changes scare you off. If anything, it makes the majority of things more simple. Use the partners that are there and that are available at your disposal, and use the free consultation that's available. I don't know any partner that we work with that charge for general consultancy. So use what's there. Plan in advance, do your research, find out, to do your research on the competition, do your research on your margins, the shipping, everything, get everything sorted, and make sure that if you do expand to a new marketplace, do it properly and really invest the time before you do so. That would be my last thing.
Yeah, 100%. And I echo that. And it's something that we echo pretty often is like when you are expanding, when you are taking the next step in your business, don't do it alone, and don't try and think that that's the best way for you to just kind of plow through and figure it all out. Whether it's learning from other sellers, speaking to partners like Payoneer and AVASK, these businesses have been through that journey before, and we're here to help you. So for Ben and for myself, Tom, thank you so much for joining us, and everyone else. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you guys for having me. See you soon.